try to make it all undone.
G'day, folks. Welcome aboard. It's Sean from the Down Under Cruises, and first in the chat, Nick P. Biday Nick, how you going, mate? Thank you very much. Yes, we made it home safely. What can I say? It was an amazing trip. Changed a life or two or three. In actual fact, everybody who was on board, certainly we changed some lives. And consider that a privilege to have been able to do so. Nick just upgraded himself for his flight to Europe in 64 days. He's flying first class with Delta from Minneapolis to Amsterdam Schiphol. Isn't that, mate, I'm so bloody jealous. Really, really jealous. I mean, you're sitting in the front rows and we were keeping the wings alive. G'day, Jonesy. Welcome aboard, mate. Nice to have you here. Been watching some of your stuff, and can I say some of the things that you've been putting up have been absolutely fantastic. The chats you've been having, the music you've been playing, I've been really, what can I say? Really excited to see some of it, and yeah. What else can I say? It was lots of things happening over the time that we were away. Good to see you coming in there. Tassie has been a little bit on the cold side, I can see, and so yeah, we've been freezing in Melbourne here now as we speak. So there we go. Such is life. What can I say? First of all, let me just bring a couple of things up. I'm just trying to get everything happening here so that I can chat to you unabated, unworried, nothing wrong. So here we go. Yes. G'day, Lone Traveller. How you going? Nice to see you there. All right. Some of the important things. What did we do? Well, we changed a life. We had young Kenneth on board the cruise ship with us. He had an absolute blast. We had an absolute blast with him. It was amazing. Not only did we change his life, but he certainly changed ours because of the way things were done, the way he actually helped us to grow and understand where he was at. So that was awesome. Had a fantastic time there. And, well, what more can I say? You know, you do things, you change people's lives, and, you know, people grow from it. You grow from it. So what more can I say? You know, it takes a world, you know, it takes a group of people to make a world and so on. So, only good things can happen from there. Nick's been averaging working about 75 hours a week. He's hitting it hard for his last 2 months before he goes. Flying first class is his birthday gift to himself. He'll be 31 years old 2 weeks from today. Well, 31, eh? Mate, I can tell you, at 61, no matter where you travel on the aircraft, whether it be the front or the back, who cares? As long as you have a great time, as long as you can enjoy the moment. We've got the governor in there. G'day, Gov. How you going? Rob on the road. Welcome aboard. Yes, so this is me in my excited look after the flight. I mean, the flight was 19 hours. We got on a plane in Tampa. That flight took us a good, 2.5 hours to get to, well, it was 2 hours. And with the time change, it looked like an hour. But it took 2 hours to get us to Houston. We spent maybe a couple of hours in Houston changing, looking for the right aircraft. Got on the plane, flying from Houston to Auckland. That was a cool 14 hours on your ass. So 14 hours of flight. And both Ilana and my favorite statement was, "Are we there yet? Are we there yet?" Anyway, um, after that, we then had a couple of hours on the ground, and then we flew 3.5 to 4 hours from Auckland to Melbourne. And I can tell you, it was, we got picked up by my parents, which was great. They picked us up and took us home. And by that, we landed in Melbourne 11 o'clock in the afternoon. Yeah, you got to love the long flights. What can we say? We landed at 11 o'clock in the morning. We got home by about 12:30. And by the time 12:30 arrived on scene, um, we got lifted back. And then Ilana decided she needed to sleep about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. At 4 o'clock that same afternoon, I decided I needed to sleep, and we both woke up at, would you believe, 6 a.m. the next morning. So lots and lots of sleep. Okay, William. Okay, quick question, Shawnee. How many people are on a cruise ship? That depends on the cruise ship, William. The one we had 3,500 people plus the crew. Nick, and flying west, you lose a day over the Pacific, right? Yeah, well, we did actually. We flew in when we flew from Melbourne to Houston. We'd been flying for 13 hours, 13 plus 4, 13, 17 hours, and arrived in Houston 2 hours before no, 4 hours after we took off. When we were flying back, we flew for 19 hours and landed in Melbourne a day and a half after we took off. So we lost a day. And it, as Jonesy says, it is hard flying back to the future. So there you go. Now, Will, you're saying, what about the cruise ship behind you? Again, that depends on the cruise ship, and I wasn't looking behind me to see what cruise ships were following. I was only going ahead to see what we were to go to the various ports that we were looking at going to. So we're still in the case of recovering, because I mean, flying back to the future is hard work. This is thanks to the vacay mode. We were met in Houston by Sean and KC from the vacay mode, as well as Ricky Ocean from the Ocean Life. The good news was we had an absolute blast. The group of us. It was our first face to Americans, and they took us out to the Texas Steakhouse, and boy, did we have a ball. Nick is asking, what surprised you most with this being your first trip to the US? Glad you had a good time in our grand old country. What surprised us the most? Well, for me, it was, okay, the people were really friendly, but those that had an official position were rather officious, actually. They just were being, as we would say, being dicks for the fact that they could actually be dicks. sake of whoops, let me bring me back up. There we go. Just being difficult for the sake of being difficult. We actually found general people were very friendly and helped as much as they possibly could. So we enjoyed that. That was really great. I think the size of the food plates. I mean, oh my goodness me! No friggin' wonder Americans have a weight issue is because of the number of the size of the portions that you give. But then again, how cheap everything was. For example, and Jonesy, you would find this an interesting one. Going to a supermarket like, say, Publix or let's go say or Whole Foods, any of the supermarkets, going in and looking at the groceries, looking at things like say the cost of bananas, 59 to 60 to 79 cents a pound. I mean, Jesus, 79 cents. For us to get a bunch of bananas, you're looking at close to $2 a kilo. 2 kilos to the pound. I mean, seriously, huge. Lone Traveler was saying that said Houston and we lost contact. Okay, Houston, we met up with Sean and KC from the Vacay Mode, and also Ricky Ocean from The Ocean Life. And we had an absolute ball with those guys. Got taken out to the Texas Steakhouse restaurant. Again, the portion sizes were huge. But at the end of the day, I mean, food's food. And we're really free drinks as well. Nick is saying, I mean, it's interesting. Jonesy, did you take extra coins to exchange as gifts of appreciation, like our 50-cent coins and pennies? No, mate. We showed them Aussie dollars, like a $50 note, and we had the $20 note. And you show them dollars next to our dollars, and their dollars, like you say, somebody who's sight impaired has a severe issue here because the notes are all exactly the same size, whereas ours are different sizes, and the latest ones have got braille markings on them. Nick did not have a foggiest clue how the coins worked. We just rather stuck to the notes, and thank God you've got dollar notes. We've got dollar coins, not notes. When he's been to Europe, he gets confused with their coins, so that's something he'd be curious on. I've heard people can't understand the quarter, dime, nickel, penny. Yeah, don't get that. Don't get that at all. I mean, if you go to Europe, you're going to go and get a 1 cent, a 5 cent, a 10 cent, a 20, and a 50. That's the same everywhere you go. William, do any of you know how many people are on the cruise ship behind Sean? Yeah, no one knows, William. Don't ask the question. Jonesy, yes, most stuff is cheaper cost-wise. When you get there, it's getting there. That's the cost. Mate, you were not wrong. Yours are all dead presidents. Yeah, I get that. Ours are all people who past who's gone in some past history. Some of them are alive, some of them aren't. Tell you what I do have. Tell you what I just have is I've still got ears that are at 37,000 feet. They are blocked. Cannot hear a thing. Cannot, well, I can, but it's all fuzzy. Well done, William. Night funny man. Yes. Nick, Texas Roadhouse is probably the place you were talking about, Sean. Yes, that was Texas Roadhouse. Man, everything's bigger in Texas, right? Um, but you know what? Looking at the cruise, my heart was totally filled when I looked at Kenny on the second last night. They did a night there where it was an 80s night, um, with music and all sorts of stuff. And Kenny was out there singing and not singing, dancing away. Um, and because he was doing that dancing and everybody was around him and he was having fun, God, my heart was absolutely full. I was really excited to see him really have a good time. Um, but Sean, did you spend the quarter I believe I left with you guys? To be honest, the quarter you left probably got added to the rest of the coins that I've got, which I don't know where they actually belong to and all that sort of stuff. Texas Roadhouse is actually from Indiana, but people in Texas have accepted it as their own. Well, Nick, you've just taught me something new. Just taught me something new. I can tell you now that as you can see, Helping Hands for Cruising out there is being displayed. And as you can see, Kenny was our first recipient. I can tell you a lot more people have gone on to providing for assistance. And we've got another cruise coming up in March. And we will have another cruise hopefully in September. So and we're looking at getting at least 3 cruises a year going. So that's going to be awesome. Crystal, good morning, or as we say, good evening here because it is 2036. But good morning to all, or good evening to you. Thank you very much, Crystal. I'm glad you could join us. Jonesy's saying you still got a big bag of American coins, mate. If you can figure out what those coins are, I'd be really proud of you. But then again, the next time you go over, you've got a bucket load of tip money, right? I'm not going to use any of it as tip money. I'm going to try and convert some of that into notes and do that. But I don't understand those coins anyway. Oh, look who's there. Mr. Burgess. G'day, mate. How you going? G'day, Burjo. Hey, listen, buddy. How was your cruise? I hope your cruise was as awesome as ours. And for you, it wasn't so bad for you to actually get yourself into the scheme of things because you were always on the right time zone and get enough rest and sleep on that cruise ship. Would I be right? Yeah. Okay, so what Dave did was he did a repositioning cruise from Hawaii. That took best part of 20-odd days, I believe. And he got into Sydney the same day we got into Melbourne. Only difference was you could walk off the ship and go home. In our case, we had to fly back. But to be honest with you, we had an awesome time afterwards because we met up with some other YouTubers, people like Doug and Nikki from Doug and Nikki. Funny about that. Matt and Kimbra from Fantastic Cruising with Cindy and Doug Spiker from Spiker's Crazy Adventures. They are the guys that actually were the TA that set us up, got us onto our cruise. So that was awesome. And also with Heather and Dwight from Us and More. So that was good. Burjo's saying that it was 20 nights of awesome, mate. This time in 7 weeks, we'll be sitting at Sydney Airport waiting to fly to the USA for another cruise. What's that one? That one's going up to Alaska, isn't it? G'day, Michael Ann. Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. You guys have been busy. Let's see. Time on your side of the fence. It's okay, very close to wake up. But that's cool. That's cool. More of you, the merrier. So, yes, now's the fun time. Again, we're planning for another cruise. We've got the fantastic cruising group cruise happening in March. That'll go from, I think, the 12th of March to the 19th. And on there, we've got another couple, Cindy and James Catanese, who will be going on the cruise as the second recipient for our group for Helping Hands. We, on the other hand, are having a family cruise that'll be on the 28th of March to the 31st of March, going from Melbourne through to Sydney via a place called Eden on the Grand Princess. So that's going to be exciting. And Burjo is saying that he's going to LA through Mexico, leaving Christmas Eve for a 7-night Christmas cruise. Wow. Where's it finishing? Back at LA? Or is it finishing in Mexico? I'm as crook as a rookwood. No, mate, I'm not crook. I'm just tired. I just need good sleep. Get over this jet lag. I worked today. I don't know about you, but I worked today. First day back at work. By the way, Burjo, did your horse win? Jonesy, did your horse win? For those that don't know, yesterday being Tuesday was Melbourne Cup Day. Australia has this habit of having days off for various sporting events, particularly in Melbourne. So yesterday was the day of the horse, Melbourne horse race. Burjo is saying, back in LA, mate, read the Eden cruise that may change as Eden is currently closed report. But that's March, mate. That's March. So, and we haven't heard anything from a princess about it at this point. So we'll see how we go. I'm pretty sure that had been affected by the floods, so that might be fixed up by then. At any rate, we leave Australia, we go on this cruise, we come back to, we leave Australia, go for the cruise into hurricane territory. Then when we come back, the hurricane territory's been fixed up. We fixed it. But then we come back into Australia only to find out that there's been floods everywhere. So there we go. Burjo is saying he don't often had a bet, but had been backing winner for some weeks. Literally, and he means literally paid for your Hawaii cruise. Oh, you slack mongrel. Oh my goodness me. Jonesy is saying that he worked all day and kept his money in his pocket. Very un-Australian. Mate, you and me are the same, Keep the money in your back pocket. And the reason why I say that's great is because that way you always win. You don't bet. Okay, so we got Dewey there. Good morning. He's got the time wrong and thought it was show was at 6 a.m. Dewey, yeah, you did get the time wrong because Melbourne went, or Australia went into daylight saving before we left for the cruise. And I know that you guys are going to drop out of daylight saving, so the time is going to change again. So there we go. Okay, again, was great finally meeting you and hanging out for a couple of days in Fort Myers, off to try and catch some Zeds. Well, likewise, nice to have you on board. Travel well, enjoy, and sleep well. Burjo is saying punting is why bookies drive BMWs and punters catch the bus. Too right, buddy. Dewey is saying we change this weekend. Yep, so we will go to 4 a.m. your time. Now, I know you, Dewey, you're going to be up and around because you'll either be getting on a cruise or getting off a cruise. So who knows? And by the way, right now, are you vacationing in Florida? Just asking. Stream Elements is saying is giving us the links for the Helping Hands for Cruising Facebook page, and donate. It's asking for you to donate to help special needs people on a cruise, and there's the direct PayPal link. Just for your information, folks, we will be putting some video from the group cruise onto the Helping Hands for Cruising YouTube channel. So if you are not a member of that particular channel, please do subscribe, because there will be some content on there that only goes to that particular channel, nowhere else. Okay. Burjo is heading off, mate. We'll give you a buzz the next day or so. Just wanted to come on and say g'day. All the best from Sue and I. Thank you very much, mate, and all the best to Sue from Ilana and I. Rest easy because your trip to LA is going to be awesome. There we go. And Dewey is saying that he's vacationing in Florida until November 20th for the next cruise. After the last couple of months, he's enjoying the rest. I would imagine that's what you'd be doing, mate. Because you've had a hectic life. I mean, you've gone on the BBD run. You had a little bit of a break. You went on another cruise. Oh, no. You did the BBD run, and then you did a back-to-back on that one. Then you came home for about 30 seconds, and then you went on another cruise, and then you got off, and then you came out on ours, and then you did another cruise somewhere else out of Tampa. So, looking at you, I think you need a break. And I think 2024 is going to be that break for you, I think. Yeah. Anyway, I'll just get into more of my coffee. We have been spending some amazing time with people, and got to spend some time with Dewey and Matt and Kimbra, and also Donovan and Jody from RV on the Wayside in Tampa. That was awesome. We got to have a look at, and Ron Sees America. We got to see the aquarium at the Florida Aquarium in Tampa. It was awesome. We had a special guided tour given to us by Matt and Kimbra, particularly Matt. So that was awesome. We had a really great look at the place, saw what they were doing, and really enjoyed every minute. every minute of that trip. So that was awesome. And then we went up to Clearwater after that, and that was also an experience. Nice, good rest before we got on the long flight home. So it was great time with great friends, and appreciated every minute with them all. Um, and yes, if you have the opportunity, come and see your way down to us. Come and spend some time with us, because things are awesome here too. I know Jonesy is saying that it was. Will agree with me that it is a bit cool now, but we're heading into our warm times, particularly around Christmas, New Year. We have some fantastic weather. Tassie has got to be one of the most gorgeous places next to New Zealand. So if any of you guys across the pond have that desire to pop into our territory, come on down. You will love every minute of it. And we're still waiting on an itinerary for the first week in January, where we're looking to set up some cruising out of Sydney, particularly straight after New Year's Eve. We will then get ourselves onto a cruise ship that will go out to either New Zealand or the South Pacific. So that's going to be awesome. And we've already got a lot of takers coming from the other side of the pond. We just need a bucket load of Aussies to join us as well. So that's going to be great. And we're also looking for a recipient at this particular point in time for that particular cruise. But we've got a bit of time up our sleeves. G'day, Arthur. How you going, buddy? You're getting close to your cruise, aren't you? Your cruise is coming up really soon. And that'll be awesome. I saw you had your first cruise ship come on in there. What was it? The Dawn Princess? Sorry, no, the Dawn. The Dawn. Oh, I forget. God. Pacific Dawn. That's who it is. Pacific Dawn. Yep, they came on into Adelaide's harbour for the first time. G'day, Alyssa. How are you? Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. And indeed, Arthur is having his cruise fairly shortly. Let me see. Dewey is planning to be here for New Year's Eve 2024-25. So that'll be awesome, because that's when we're planning to have our group cruise. And yes, Pacific Explorer. By the way, Arthur, have you seen any info on the Pacific Adventurer and the other one? Pacific. The two new ships. So how was the holiday? It was awesome. Like I said earlier on, we got into Houston. We met up with Sean and KC and Ricky Ocean. I was going to say Ricky Lake, but Ricky Ocean from the Ocean Life. And we had dinner together, and then we had to spend an extra day in Houston because our flight down to Fort Myers was cancelled because of the hurricane. So we ended up flying the next day into Tampa, and then my cousin came to pick us up from Tampa. Now, what happened was, when we flew into Tampa, we had Matt and Kimbra, who graciously gave us their time. They met us in Tampa just as the plane landed. We were then waiting for my cousin to arrive, and it took much longer than he expected. And so they stayed with us until he did arrive. We had dinner together, and when my cousin arrived, he then drove us down to Fort Myers to his house where he lives, and that was awesome. He had an issue where he was trying to come up He was bringing some people up to the airport, and he was going to do an exchange, drop them off and pick us up. But the trip that would ordinarily take a bit over 2 hours to do ended up taking 7 hours because of the traffic that was created because of the hurricane. Not necessarily the hurricane itself, the aftermath of that hurricane. And so we jumped into the car, and he's driving back down, and the area that would have increased the time to 7 hours had been cleared up in the interim, and so we made it back down there in 2 hours. Got to spend time at his home for a couple of weeks, and then we were picked up and we met some other people that came along. Mike Donovan from Traveling with Mike, and John and Nancy from J&N Travels. And also we met up with Donovan and Jody from RV on the Wayside, and we all had good quality time together. Donovan then took us down to Miami, and we then were there to greet everybody, welcome them all in. We were there a couple of days before, and so that's where we got to catch up with the rest of the crew that were coming on board. So we met up with people like Darian from Magnificent Germany with Darian. We met up with Eric B from Traveling with Eric B. The supporter extraordinaire Najuma Brown. We met up with Larry from Plum Travelers. Call Me V and her hubby Steve, Markalan from Markalan Spoilt Mama, Amy from Amethyst Haze. Oh my goodness me, the mind is failing me. Danny from the Griswold Family Vacay came on down. That was really exciting because he was a surprise for a number of people. Troy Stanton came down. Miss Meg, who is currently asleep by the looks of it, she popped in, came down. That was great. Sir Paul, her partner in crime, they came down. Darian was, Sarah and Glenn were there as well. We didn't actually meet them at the hotel. We met them on the cruise ship, but that was awesome. And they had such a good time, they decided to do a back-to-back. So that was awesome. Jonesy, Darian is how you see him. You know, when you see him on his shows, that's the way he is in person. In fact, both Ilana and I were short asses, so they were a lot taller than us. They are exactly the way they are in person. Oh, yes, Crystal, how could I forget you? You were the life of the party at times. And that was really awesome to see you guys. Dewey was there as well. He ran across Glenn and Sarah and John and Nancy the following week in Cozumel. That was great. They were a bit out there. Jonesy, they were a bit out there. He is a bit out there. But you know what's exciting is that he is, what can I say about Darian? He's the sort of person that when he makes his mind up to do something, it gets done, whether you like it or not. The problem is you cannot stop him talking along the way. Like I gave him an instruction, can you please take care of Kenny for me? And he goes, yep, sure, consider it done. Only problem was it took him 20 minutes to get from where he was to get to Kenny because he was too busy nattering to everybody on the way. He's such a delight, that man. I've got so much time for him. We had, let me see, Sharon and Gary from the cruising scene and Travel in Between. They were awesome. I'm trying to remember who else because there was just so many people there. And it was fun. It was an absolute ball. I'm trying to see the faces now. Ron Sees America came on. Ron Curtis from Ron Sees America came on board the ship with us. Eric. We had an event. This was an awesome event. We had the Who Could Chow Down. G'day, Jimmy. I'm going to talk to you a little bit afterwards. You're going to start your live in about a minute or so, but I will talk to you on there and actually behind the scenes. There's a couple of things I need to explain. Glad we had a successful trip. Yep, because you guys are going to drop out of daylight saving this weekend. We've gone into daylight saving, so the time changes by 2 hours. So I don't think that you're going to be wanting to get up at 4 a.m. to do a shared session. So I'm happy to do our session on a weekly basis and come in and raid your session in a couple of hours, if that's going to be okay with you. But we'll talk more about it a little later on. And thank you, Jonesy, for putting that out there. Smash that like button. Yes, we had we had Deb Wright and her mum Lois. They came on board the cruise ship as well. Now Deb has a dog by the name of Glenna. She's a sight impaired, and so the dog helps her with her vision. Any rate, we had an event. We had Guy's Burger on board the ship, and then we decided to have a burger eating contest. Glenn, I won't give you the figures. There was Glenn from Travel to a Taste decided to have a go at the competition. There was Larry from Plum Travelers. There was Dewey from Dewey Ski. There was Darian had a go, and Eric mentioned Eric. Anyway, the person who had done the most, had eaten the burger the quickest, was Larry. He did it in 47 seconds. And Deb Wright says to me, let's see how quick Glenna can hoe this down. Well, we put Glenna on the clock. I said go. Glenna went through it in 11 seconds flat, a Guy's Burger. Now, that was the funniest thing we'd ever seen, because here was Larry, who had chowed his way through a burger in 47 seconds, and I just saw him get deflated by a dog. 11 seconds flat. That was amazing. That was funny. That was some of the fun bits we had. Another thing we did was we had Kenny with us. We had four, so there were 8 of us, and we went on. We hired some golf carts in Bonaire, and we took ourselves around for a trip in Bonaire. And Kenny was beside himself. He enjoyed it so much. He actually got to stand, not literally, actually got to go to a beach. He actually got to look at the water. He actually got to fulfill all his wildest dreams about the ocean. That was absolutely amazing. He had the best time ever. G'day, Ocean to Ocean. Nice to have you on board. Then also what happened was we had the chef's table, and one of Kenny's biggest wishes was to be able to get into the escargot that was on board. The escargot was not part of the chef's table cuisine at that particular point in time, and I was really so thrilled at and so taken aback at the way the chef and his crew worked. Kenny decided during the chef's dinner that he needed to go to the bathroom, so I walked him out through to the bathroom. Ilana had a word with the chef, and Kenny was given his own set of escargot to have a go at. So he tried escargot, absolutely loved it, and that was awesome. He Kenny, I tell you, he still talks about it today. He actually, if you talk to him about eating avocado, he'll go ooh caca poo poo yucky yucky whatever. He had in the chef's table they provided some avocado in a way that you didn't know it was avocado. He enjoyed it, he loved it, and I tell you what, that night was something special and memorable. And there were a lot of memorable moments in there. Kenny had an absolute ball. Um, Everybody had a good time, and what can we say? G'day Najuma, welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Yes. So what can we say? He was a lucky guy. He had the best time ever, and we were thrilled to be able to provide it to him. So what more can we say? We're only looking forward to the next group cruise, that being the fantastic cruising group cruise. Guys, if you want to, there is still room on there. Go and spend some time with people like Kenny, like James Catanese, like his wife Cindy, and learn how these people get around each day. And you know what? It'll be as much of an exciting opportunity for you as it is for them. There have been some comments coming through here. Um, Alyssa's saying cool stuff. Jimmy was saying, so glad Kenny had a great time. Arthur's saying, that's good to hear. So glad that he enjoyed it. Alyssa saying, oh, amazing for Kenny. Beautiful. It was. Also saying, so happy for Kenny. So you're all saying the same things. And it's an opportunity for you guys to go and experience what we experienced. Arthur saying, well done. Everyone helped out Kenny to have a great time. Everybody did absolutely that. They all shared in Kenny's success and enjoyment. And so I'm saying to everybody, you need to get on the next group cruise because that will help you out as well. You'll get to learn more about people like James and Kenny. Wow, Jimmy, that's awesome. You will be on that March cruise. That will be awesome. You're gonna gain as much as James and Cindy will. Let me tell you that. So Matt and Kimbra are really excited about it. They're looking forward to getting things happening. It's going to be out of Tampa on the Carnival Pride, I believe. Dewey, you can't underestimate Kenny. He walked with him all over Aruba, and at some points he had trouble keeping up with Kenny. You know what? I fully understand that one. Fully understand that one. He's just a special kind of guy, Kenny. G'day, Paul. How are you? Welcome aboard. Nice to have you here. Dewey's funny. Well, you know what? He's not as funny as you know. I mean, if you know Kenny, he's got a mind of his own, and that's just awesome, just awesome. Dewey is saying that he reserved his spot on the March cruise yesterday. That's cool. Kimbra will be very happy about that. I don't know where I got Kendra from. Sorry to Kimbra. For those of you that don't know, Matt proposed to Kimbra on our group cruise. So there were a lot of firsts happening there, a lot of exciting things happening there. So that was awesome. She did muffle yes somewhere in there, I believe. but we didn't actually hear it in words. We actually saw it in tears. Yes, congrats. Not only that, but we also had um, a vow renewal, and that was put out by one of my lights is gone, and that was done by there was a rabbi there by the name of Rabbi Schmimmelhauser, Rabbi Rabbi Yossel Sachs Schmimmelhauser. You'll need to get onto the Helping Hands for Cruising YouTube channel to see those videos when they come out, because we will not be putting that out for general. That was good. That was funny. You'll see who Rabbi Yossel was. And he was wearing some budgie smugglers as well. Oh, there we go again. Hello. He was wearing some budgie smugglers as well, so that was awesome. That was great fun. Let me see. Alyssa is saying great memories were made, and yes, Alyssa, you are 100% correct. There were some very extraordinary memories made. Arthur's looking forward to the vlogs. Yeah, so am I. I mean, yeah, you're going to enjoy them. We were just reminiscing on some of that stuff over dinner tonight. We were having dinner with my parents, and yeah, that was going to be fun. And yes, Alyssa, there were budgie smugglers there. Well, yeah, well, if you come on Saturday, Arvo, at 1 p.m., I'll show you the budgie smugglers. I may not be wearing them, but I'll certainly bring them along and let you have a look. It was fun. We had an awesome time. G'day, Facebook user. Very happy to have us back home. Yay. It's either mum or someone else. Don't know who. But yes, it was great. So Facebook user, just tell us who you are. Yes. So that was cool. And Alyssa is having a good old giggle. And let me say, one of the giggle spots. You were just talking about this. One of the giggle spots. Sarah, Kenny, Glenn, and Ilana. All getting to the point where Kenny could not stay in his chair. And I'll tell you what, everybody was having the biggest giggle of that time. It was so hilarious. So hilarious. Anyway, enough of that. Jimmy, it's Mom. Thanks, Mom. Jimmy, my impressions of the US, I can understand why you guys across the pond are so huge. The portions, the officials are very officious, if you understand what I mean. Average Joe Blow is a great person. You know, average Joe Blow, very friendly, very helpful. Give you the shirt off their back. It was great to see. Just your money I can't get. The fact that your notes are exactly the same size, that there's nothing that differentiates them. So somebody who's sight impaired has issues. But you know what? It was awesome to see. You guys do drive on the wrong side of the road, I must say. I kept on looking the wrong way. I kept on looking left when I should have been looking right. So, yeah, that was it. Nick is saying customs agents for most countries are very strict, but that shouldn't but that should be standard. They were. There's one thing about being strict. There's another thing about downright rude. And when we were getting on board the ship, one of the officials was being very officious, and they they got to the point of being rude. I had my hands full. I was helping Deborah, who was sight impaired, and they going and Ilana was carrying my boarding pass, and they said, "Why are you carrying the boarding pass? He should carry it." About talking about me, and so she ended up giving it to me, but she was just being a smart ass, which the officious person. Jonesy, yeah, cars are on the wrong side of the road. Yep. Alyssa's saying that would be weird. Yeah, having cars going on the wrong side and having to look the wrong way, and that's all interesting. What else can I tell you? I'm almost impeding on Jimmy's time, so I'm going to bid you all a farewell and let Jimmy get onto his show so that we can all chat and have a good time. It is 15 minutes past the hour, so hang on a sec. Nick, there is a reason we drive on the right side. That works both ways. It's on the right side of the road, and it's the right way to drive. I'm glad you drive on the right. We just do it on the correct. Again, Jimmy, you drive on the right, which is right. Yeah, that's correct. We drive on the correct. Jimmy hasn't been live in a while. Why, mate? Why? You should be. You should be. Okay, Nick. Don't worry. 3 weeks of his trip, Sean. He will be driving on the correct side of the road during his time, having a rental car in Ireland, but it was a good deal. 3 weeks with, which included everything. You know what? You'll find, Nick, that the switch is easy. Just be careful when you do the turns. The turns are going to be the biggest bugbear. Crystal, have a great day, everyone. Yes, likewise. Nick is saying $1,150 to rent, which is awesome. Jimmy's been taking a break from his lives. Why? Because I haven't been there? Come on, mate. Paul saying good day to Nick. Arthur's going, good night. Thanks for telling us all about the holiday and good times. Thank you, mate. Yes, it was awesome. And Jimmy's having some minor health issues. Hope to have things in order soon. Mate, I'll chat to you about that off air. But what I do want to do is wish everybody a pleasant week. We will be back on at 10 p.m. Eastern on Friday night for those across the pond. For those that are on our side of the pond, that'll be 1 p.m. this week on Saturday. Next week it'll be 2 p.m. because the US goes out of time, goes out of daylight saving. So we will swap an hour. We still are at 8 p.m. every Wednesday, which will equate to 4 a.m. across the pond. Have a good night, everybody. Have a great day, everyone who's on the other side. And we shall talk to you. And next time, keep smiling.